Nice.
All right, so the next one I want to talk about is what do you think of MMOs selling weapon and armor styles or motifs like ESO versus selling transmog cosmetics versus selling tradable premium memberships like RuneScape? So, if that wasn't quite clear, what monetization practices outside of subscription do you view as positive and what are negative?
So when you say a motif, is that like you just buy a whole set and you apply it to like a cosmetic slot and it just takes over instead of applying it to each individual armor piece? Is that what
I would like to say yes, but I've never played ESO. If there's anybody in chat who has played
been a while
ESO,
since I've played.
who knows what a motif is and can explain.
I think
Virtek, did you
So
play
in
ESO?
Elder Scrolls Online, armor motifs are collectible
Oh.
items that allow players to craft armor and weapons in various cultural styles. Motifs can also be used to change the appearance of existing armor for a small fee.
That's kind of cool, actually.
so. Grim says it's complete. Okay. So you would like basically craft a thing and then you put it into a Lost Ark had a very similar thing. If I remember correctly, they have like a transmog tab and you apply a transmog and it applies to all your gear.
Yeah, transmog outfit versus, I guess, individual transmog cosmetics versus selling tradable premium memberships.
Also, like World of Warcraft, I think, for the membership. No, I guess the premium
WoW
membership would be
sub,
more
yeah.
like, yeah.
WoW lost its integrity when they sold the WoW token, so we'll just leave it at that. But sub is fine. So premium memberships to me are a sub. So like any game that has a premium membership, it's just kind of like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're doing a sub fee. Like if you're going to play this game on any serious level, you're going to pay for the premium membership, right? It usually comes with like an XP boost and like crafting, whatever, right? Like, yes, it's pay to win, but if it's just basically something almost everybody's doing versus one person, a few people not doing it to enjoy the, whatever kind of theme park mentality of the game, I don't have a problem with premium memberships. In all honesty, I don't have a problem with selling cosmetics in general. Like I have a problem with the monetization as a whole, but if we were to take like all the evils of monetization, those are all like the least of the evils, right? So I think ultimately I don't have a problem with almost any of those for a live service game. And there have been some games that are not live service where they sell those things and I'm just blown away. It's like, why are you like, you're not developing this any further. You're not balancing, you're not making changes, you're not adding anything.
Right.
Why are you selling skins? That one is weird to me. What was that? Dragon's Dogma was doing that, right? And that was the big hubbub around Dragon's Dogma 2 that came out.
Gotcha.
It was a great game.
2.
2. Yes, 2. Everyone loved it. I actually haven't played it, but the big thing was you could buy campfires or whatever that you could teleport to, which you could earn in game, but the ones you bought were a lighter weight in your inventory than the ones you could. So there was like these weird little things that they sold, completely single player game. That kind of miffs me a bit, especially when it's a $70 game, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2, that one I had heard of, and I kind of looked into it and decided I wasn't going to buy it just because of their whole, like, I think before they launched, they had like $700 or something crazy like that worth of add-ons that you could buy that were just cosmetic stuff for a single player game.
Yeah.
A bit much, right?
Yeah.
But in general, I don't have a problem with anything that doesn't give you an advantage of other players. And I take a pretty old school hardline stance on pay to win. If you can earn it in game or you could still buy it, I don't really like it. Just because then it devalues the time and effort I've spent in the game. And I get that it doesn't affect me if somebody else does it, but at a mental level, as like an older school gamer, it does affect me. It's like, well, this cheapens everything I've done. Like I come from the era where like if you're kitted out in purple gear, right? Like, or whatever, and it's a flex, right? You stand in the middle of a social center. That's to me in an MMO, like that's part of the game. It's kind of like the gear flex a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like I did this. Yeah. It's achievement based.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, Mr. Valentine always has some good points. and this one is one that I was actually going to say basically outright myself, was I feel RuneScape's premium membership is the real game, and the free-to-play version is the demo to get you to commit to a membership. Those types of premium memberships I am 1000% in support of. If it's a free-to-play game, and there's a premium membership that gets you to where the developers wanted the game to be, but you can have the option to play with a downgraded experience with like lesser experience rolling in, less money rolling in, less bag space for free, that type of thing, then I'm 100% okay, because that means that any single month that I just don't feel like paying that bill because I don't feel like playing until they release the next expansion, I don't have to pay, but I can still hang out with my friends or do little silly things here or there. And I'm not trying to, progress, or I'm not trying to get the full experience of the game. I'm okay with that. I actually really like those.
Yeah. Grim Liberty says, OMG, yeah, pre-BC, the tier armors, then BC came out, and the first green I found was an upgrade. The hoochie pants.
Nice. Nice.
And Viral, in response to you, Virtek says, yeah, I'm good with that model too. Welcome in, Basil. Hi. And I mean, I was gonna read Mr. Valentine's thing as well, but basically, yeah, I guess I'll just say I'll agree because you guys said everything that I would have said. So
I think Grim Liberty's comment makes me laugh a lot because that it was a really bad. And this is actually, I wonder how Ashes is going to deal with this. But obviously, getting the game out is first priority. But it felt really bad, like farming, end game raids for a year or 2 years when you hit max level and you go from purple to purple to purple. And a lot of my experience comes from WoW, but and then an expansion comes out and the first quest screen you get is like better than something you've gotten that's a purple legendary. It's like it doesn't feel great to give up all that year's work for because of new expansions here, and there's a new power level that they've artificially increased. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously Guild Wars skirted that by just having everything be horizontal, but there's different ways around that.
I would kind of agree with you on that, but I would add one caveat. After they introduced like proper transmog, then that actually isn't a bad thing, because you can spend all the time to defeat the raid, get all the special pieces of the special colors that only drop from a heroic raid.
That's true.
Heroic 25 man or whatever, and the only way you can transmog it is by getting that from the raid. And you spend all the time and you got it all, and you move on, and you can still wear that. Nobody else can wear that until they go through and get all those pieces, which,
usually
down the line somebody could
usually the next expansion, it's really hard to go and solo the raids from the previous expansion, but like obviously years on
2 expansions down the road, then you might be able to, or at least get a team of 5 to take out a 25 man, but it's still going to take some effort.
But down the line, really the only flex that exists in WoW as far as like appearance goes is titles and mounts at this point, right? Like and then current tier stuff, transmogs. But yeah, I think that's an interesting, like the longer an MMO lives on, kind of the more it becomes its own enemy as far as like player achievements go, right? Because because you have to gain some power fantasy year by year, right? Which devalues when somebody did it in a current time. So what do you do? Titles and mounts and things. But interesting. Take
them away after the next expansion. They hang out for one expansion after the current one, and then it's gone.
Yeah, I mean that's I think, or you have it but like a different color, right? So the same model of gear, but it's now like the next expansion's color. Like dishwater gray or something like that. You have it, but it looks like a placeholder.
It turns out like a black and white version of the comic or something.